Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily Apple report for Wednesday, March 6th, 2024. Let's take a look at the chart. I'll start with the big picture and work my way into the day itself. You can see that we have clearly this week, as of actually Tuesday's activity, violated the 174.36 channel top, which I'd mentioned could contain selling longer term. Isn't to be, wasn't to be. Now that we've violated 174.36, I do see not so much the low 60s, but more or less the mid 60s as our objective. In fact, that 174.36 level, if you can kind of do a snapshot in your mind of it, I have it represented here horizontally on the weekly chart. I am expecting 166.93. That same formation on the daily chart is 166.86. And so that is our target. With present volatility and this rate of descent, I see this as more of a 3 to 5 day objective now. You might call it 1 to 2 weeks, depending on if we find support, rally back to 175.07 over the next few days, then back down to 166.86. But bottom line, it really is this former channel bottom on the daily chart that I'm using as our price ceiling now, in combination with 174.36, that longer term channel top on the weekly chart. That is our ceiling. I've reduced them to weekly levels only. 3-star resistance, able to contain buying through next week if tested over the next few days, which I actually doubt, but you never know. And in fact, I would like to show you this image here. 172.04 is Tuesday's high, a gap lower opening. It is the move low thus far. For the next day or two, it will have meaning. In other words, if today, for instance, we break to a new low, we violate Tuesday's 169.62 low, and then by late in the day we close above 172.04. That key reversal low, bullish engulfing pattern, would then anticipate pretty quickly, 174.36 to 175.07 within a day or two. That could also, if it were a key reversal low, be a precursor for a more meaningful rally. One of the reasons I've reduced the 174.36 to 175.07 area from a 4-star multi-week containment to weekly containment is because we are now in close reach, actually, of 166.06, 166.86. And it is this horizontal structure that may well contain selling. And I don't want to keep saying this all the way down and encourage people to get long all the way down, but it really is sort of the last foothold, the last threshold to the downside that I see can contain longer term selling pressures, can contain selling not only for the week, month, but also the quarter and into later year. And from 166.86, within a couple of weeks or sooner of testing 166.86, 174.36 to 175.07 in reach, where we can place a weekly high perhaps and fall back to 166.86. But it really is 166.86 as our long-term support area that you can see on the weekly chart here. Now, on an intra-week basis, let's say the bloodletting continues and we violate 166, that's 166.91.93, 166.86 on the weekly chart, 166.93 on the daily chart, 166.93 on the weekly chart. I'm not sure if that's a correct number. I am a stickler for exactitude, and I do know the daily chart is 166.86, but in terms of the weekly chart, I'm just not sure. So, they're 2 ticks off, but nonetheless, I'm not quite sure what 166.91 is. I'm not sure if that was last week's channel bottom on the weekly chart, but in any event, if you want to add 2 ticks, 166.86 to 166.93, if we happen to break 166.86 today, or even close below it, we can on Thursday tag 162.55 to 163.96, and as long as Friday closes at 166.93 or higher, and on the daily chart, once again, that comes in at 166.86. As long as we close back above this area at the end of a week, I see that as still a potential long-term bottoming process. I will apprise you of the longer-term downside objectives if we were to close below the 166.93 area. But for right now, I'm just not going to go there. I think this is bottom-picking territory. I've been mentioning it now for a while. And yes, if we close below 166.93 by a 1% margin, and we'll provide you the number later in the week, then we are indeed in a significant sign of longer term weakness. I see that as a good annual high. I see the 130s, 140s likely within a month or two or three. We can bottom out there and stabilize. But in terms of the high of the year, which was put out in January, I think it's good below 166.93. No good reason to be long Apple if your time horizons of over the next few months and even into later year if we close below 166.93. Let's go back to the upside today. Pushing or opening, especially opening, but I don't see opening, but certainly we could push back above 172.04 today, but which is, by the way, a level that's very symbolic, as I say, the high of the move low. It will be an important point for the next day or two. If we push above 172.04, the 174.36 level in reach, where we can top out for the rest of the week, and from there, once again, holding below 174.36 does maintain a 166.86 target that is likely to be realized by the end of next week, possibly this week. If over the next 3 to 5 days we can close above 175.07, I think, and especially at the end of a week, that is an indication for a good March low, possibly good low into later Q2. I would then expect meaningful recovery as we continue into March trade. Our first target within could be as little as 3 to 5 days, 179.24. But there are plenty of resistance levels that I don't see shown here right now. Because we're just not going there yet. We're in the midst of determining price support for you and what the likelihood is over the next few days. But I can paint a picture here, a descending channel bottom. We need to see what the low is. It's just not in yet. Descending channel bottom, a descending trend line against these highs. I'm going to say it's in the 190s still, the lower 190s, 180s, 190s, that become a 3 to 5 week target. If we can close back above 175.07 on Friday, and a 1 to 2 week objective if we can close then above 179.24. I think that pretty much rounds it out. Please click like, share, subscribe. Check out wickedstocks.com. On Tuesday, we put out a stock pick on the Dollar Tree store. It's at a significant price point. Line study that has ramifications into later year. You might want to apprise yourself of that by going to wickedstocks.com and filling out the free subscription. You get a 5-day free trial up front. If you don't like what you see after 5 days, you can bow out. But you'll get the triple Q and the SPY and everything with that as well. I'm going to leave it at that for Wednesday's Apple Report. I'll be back again tomorrow, of course, with Thursdays. Please click like, share, subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow. You have a great day.